Greetings, students. I'm going to read Restorative Justice. Unit 1, Reader. What is justice in the current American justice system? So, I don't know if any of you know that our program was founded in the county jail system in Northern California by a wonderful person named Sonny Schwartz, along with the sheriff's department at the time. I forget the gentleman's name, but there's a great book that Sonny Schwartz wrote. And anyway, based on when Sonny went into the county jail as a legal mediator of some sort before going to law school, they were asked to work in there and really get the complaints from the inmates and find out what some of their issues might be. And once they realized what a lot of the complaints were, not seeing their children, don't have a job, there's some domestic abuse happening based on frustrations, whatever happens, right? Things happen. People go to jail, people make mistakes. And so gathering these complaints and realizing what the needs were of the population that were incarcerated that Sonny came across, there were 3 programs developed from that. And one was the GED program, which is how 5 Keys came. 5 Keys Schools and Programs. Remember, we're chartered through San Francisco Unified School District and allowed to do that. And one of the other programs was parenting classes, so that some of the inmates, once they're released, formerly incarcerated people back into the community, they really needed to re-engage with children, and families, and get the bond back. So if they were able to prove parenting classes, it's great. Anger management, those sorts of programs, as well as victim offender impact program, which you're going to read about once you get through these units of restorative justice, or RJ as we call it. So those 3 components made it so our program could exist, because one of those things that Sonny realized, along with the sheriff at the time, was that anyone who passed through Sonny's program, they probably did not probably, their numbers were lower for them returning to jail for the exact same reason, which is something that the sheriff was seeing before Sonny brought the program in. Again, we're the first school to be housed in a county jail, and since then there are other programs that have started. So restorative justice is another way to, it's an alternative to our current criminal justice system. So this unit is very, very important, especially today when we have so many things happening in society and changes and politically, right? So what is restorative justice? Restorative justice is an alternative approach to responding to harm and conflict. It looks at how to repair the harm caused by unjust behavior. It considers the needs of victims and communities when something unfair has happened. Restorative justice is a way to look at how to make things right. Some people see it as an alternative to taking an eye for an eye. In restorative justice, the offender, the person who has caused harm, is asked to play a part in healing or repairing that harm. They are asked to help make it right. Many countries are currently using restorative justice as an alternative to incarceration. For example, a young person who vandalizes a storefront may agree to repair the store and volunteer to work at the store until the cost of the damage are paid off. This would benefit the store owner, avoid the cost of incarceration, and provide an opportunity for the young person. This is an example of restorative justice, or RJ. Restorative justice is not a new idea, and it was used by many traditional cultures across the globe for thousands of years. Native North Americans, for example, came together in community justice circles to decide what to do when a rule was violated. Similarly, in New Zealand and Australia, restorative circles, instead of courtrooms, have been used by Aboriginal communities to resolve offenses and conflicts For centuries, these and other communities developed ancient ways to repair harm without prisons and jails. The traditions and principles of RJ, or restorative justice, have been passed on and used in modern history. Following the end of apartheid, South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission heard over 10,000 cases in which violent offenders sought amnesty in exchange for complete disclosure and accountability, performing restitution and apologizing for their acts. As of the late 1990s, there were over 24 restorative justice programs operating in Canada, nearly 300 in Germany, and 130 in Finland. During the 1990s, restorative justice spread throughout the United States, both in the criminal justice systems and in schools. I'm sure those numbers are different. These statistics are a little old, so I'm hoping that those numbers are very different now. So the first question, you can pause after this and grab your notebook for some credit. It's time for some credit. First question, have you ever heard of restorative justice before? That's the first question. So if you've ever heard of it, I mean, maybe you saw a commercial, maybe you've seen a politician mention it before, perhaps you've never heard of it. Just go ahead and press pause. Tell me your answer. Have you ever heard of RJ, restorative justice, before? First question. Just pause. You can tell me why when commercial student, your child in class, at school, maybe there's a program at their school and you heard of it there, which is fine as well. And the reason I came to Five Keys, I'll just tell you, I live in a community, grew up in a community where, we all know someone who's been in jail, been incarcerated, been imprisoned, wrongfully accused, all those things, jacked up by the police, call it whatever you want. So when you talk about truly being affected, I knew when I started teaching that I wanted to service my community and people in communities that were like mine. And for that reason, why not work in a program with people who you may be able to guide along and help them find the resources to get right back on the right path and make the community, repair the community back to the way we all love for it to be, safe, clean, all of those things. So, at least to the best of our ability. So then why study restorative justice? Many Five Key students live in communities that are deeply affected by injustice and crime. Some schools specialize in math and science. Some schools in rural farming areas require classes in agriculture. Five Key students are experts at living in communities that experience crime and injustice. Therefore, all the students study ways to make our communities safer and more just. Many of you come from neighborhoods that have been harmed by poverty or violence. Some of you have been victims of crime, and others have loved ones that are serving time in prison or jail. Maybe you immigrated to America after leaving countries with fewer opportunities and where injustice was all around you. Some Five Key students are political refugees, fleeing your home countries after experiencing grave injustice. And many students of Five Keys are currently serving time in jail and are on probation or parole. What will you study in this course? So, let's actually do question number 2, which is, according to the reader, what I just read, you're going to need to pause this, okay? Whose needs are considered in restorative justice? Number 2. We're just going, instead of saying according to the reader, because I don't have much space on here, whose needs are considered in RJ? Question number 2, write it down, get your notepad ready, and press pause. I'll read this last section. What will you study in this course? In this course, you will look at different ways to bring about justice in your communities. You will examine the existing criminal justice system and explore alternatives. Students will read and write and discuss different ways that various cultures and communities around the world have tried to repair harm done by injustice. As you all have personal experience with justice and injustice, you are all in a strong position to understand themes in this course. So let's note this unit, right? Talking about conflict and crime can be stressful and disturbing. So we definitely don't want to trigger any trauma, which can happens with just reading things about other people, or certain language, certain vocabulary can just trigger certain traumatic instances again and experiences. So please pace yourself, be very careful. Some of the experiences and issues described in this course may be upsetting or make you feel angry. They may remind you of things you have experienced in your own life. So again, be careful and cautious. If the subject's upset or angry you, try one of these. Taking a break. It's okay to feel angry or sad. Just be good to yourself. I always say breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Great. Talking to someone, writing about it, remembering you are strong and have survived a lot. That is the number one thing. Don't be so hard on yourself. You made it through to tell this story, to come meet me, to go to class, to start school again. Whatever it is, take care of your family, go to work, wake up, breathe, live. You made it. Thinking about someone or something positive always helps. And thinking about how you can help change the world. One person can make a difference. I know there are days when I feel like I'm not, and then one of you come to class or give me a call, send me the sweetest message, and life is great again. So that's all we're going to do for today, because it's about that time for me to make my phone calls to students. That's your quick attendance credit for the day, elective credit. I'm actually going to give restorative justice credit for that. I'll finish that tomorrow and Thursday and Friday for the rest of the week. That way you will earn at least a half of a unit if you complete all 4. I believe it will be 4 parts to just this one assignment from Restorative Justice Unit 1. Okay, thanks for watching.